All right, let's dive in. We're about to take a journey 5,000 years into the past to unpack the incredible story of ancient Egypt. The world's very first superpower. It's a wild tale of god kings, absolutely massive pyramids, and a single prophecy that took centuries to actually play out.
Now, you might think we'd start way back at the beginning, but nope. Our story actually starts by looking into the future, with a prophecy that really frames this entire epic history.
So before his death, the Prophet Muhammad said that his followers would one day conquer the ancient land of Egypt. But he added this really crucial instruction: to treat its people with kindness. This one prophecy sets up a pretty fascinating historical question.
I mean, think about it. For thousands of years, Egypt was untouchable. It was the richest, most powerful civilization on Earth. So what on earth happened? Well, to find the answer, we have to go all the way back to the very beginning.
So let's rewind the clock way back 5,000 years to find the source of Egypt's incredible power. And it wasn't gold, it wasn't armies, it was something way more fundamental.
In the ancient world, water was everything. It was like oil or data is today. In Egypt, well, Egypt had the Nile, the longest river in the world. This one natural resource made the land unbelievably fertile, which brought people from all over and turned Egypt into the wealthiest, most dominant nation out there.
So, around 3100 BC, a ruler by the name of Narmer managed to unite all these different settlements along the Nile, creating the world's first great kingdom. And what's amazing is that we know this story because it's literally carved into ancient stone tablets, some of the oldest Egyptian writings ever found.
Okay, so after 1,000 years of ruling the known world, the pharaohs took a step no ruler had ever taken before. They decided being just a king wasn't good enough anymore. No, they were gods.
Yup, you heard that right. The pharaohs declared themselves living gods on earth. A whole new religion was built around this idea, teaching that the only way for a regular person to get to paradise was to serve the pharaoh. This one belief would literally change the face of the planet.
This new religion had this strange, new belief. A pharaoh could only stay a god in the afterlife if his physical body was perfectly preserved, and this led to the incredible and kind of gruesome science of mummification. I mean, look at this process. They'd pull the brain out through the nose with a hook, take out all the organs except the heart, soak the body in salt for 40 days, all before filling it, anointing it, and wrapping it up for eternity. So with every pharaoh now obsessed with preserving their divine body, a competition started. Who could build the biggest, the best, the most secure tomb to protect their mummy? This kicked off an insane architectural arms race that gave us one of the wonders of the world, the pyramids.
And the pyramids just got bigger and bigger until we get to the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now get this, for an unbelievable 3,800 years, it was the tallest structure built by human hands on the entire planet. Nothing else even came close.
To put its sheer size into perspective for today, think about the tallest building we have, the Burj Khalifa. You could take the weight of 12 Burj Khalifas, and the Great Pyramid would still be heavier. It's just an almost unimaginable feat of engineering.
But, building these massive projects came at a massive cost. One that started to weaken the empire from the inside out, making it vulnerable for the first time in centuries.
This was a classic case of divine ambition versus economic reality, right? The pharaohs were so laser-focused on their eternal godhood that they were bankrupting their kingdom right here on Earth. The pyramids drained the treasury, and for the first time in 1,000 years, the superpower of Egypt started to wobble.
It was right at this moment of crisis that, according to the source material, a young slave named Yusuf, you might know him from the Bible as Joseph, was sold in an Egyptian market. And through this incredible series of events, he rises all the way up to become prime minister. His wisdom guided the kingdom, he rebuilt its economy, and he brought Egypt back to its former glory. He also brought his family, the Bani Israel, to come live and prosper there. So after Yusuf, his descendants, the Bani Israel, lived well in Egypt for a long time. But hundreds of years later, a dramatic shift in power would set the stage for a truly legendary confrontation.
A new dynasty takes control, and this one was deeply suspicious of outsiders. They turned on the Bani Israel, stripped them of their wealth and power, and forced them into slavery. This brutal oppression went on for 4 long centuries. Then, the pharaoh gets a terrifying prophecy of his own. A boy will be born among the enslaved Bani Israel who will grow up to destroy his entire 3,000-year-old empire. In a total panic, he orders every newborn son of the Bani Israel to be killed. But one child, Musa, or Moses, would famously survive. Okay, so this is where the historical record gets a little complex. The story of Moses and the Exodus is a cornerstone of the Quran and the Bible, right? But it's completely missing from ancient Egyptian records. Just not there. What's interesting, though, is where all the accounts kind of line up. Modern historians confirm that right after the reign of Pharaoh Ramesses, Egypt's power went into a steep, permanent decline.
So, as the story goes, the confrontation between Musa and the pharaoh ends with the liberation of the Bani Israel. But when Ramesses breaks his promise to let them go and chases them with his army, well, he and all his soldiers were destroyed in the sea. This event marked the end of Egypt's last great native pharaoh. The fall of Ramesses wasn't just the end of one king. It was really the beginning of the end for pharaonic Egypt. It set off this long, slow decline that would, believe it or not, lead right back to the prophecy we started with.
After Ramesses, Egypt pretty much entered what historians call a dark age. Its superpower status was gone, for good. For the next 1,000 years, its wealth made it a target for every rising empire. It was conquered first by the Greeks under Alexander the Great, then by the mighty Roman Empire, and then, in 641 AD, after centuries of Roman rule, a new power arrived on their doorstep.
Under the Caliph Umar, the Muslim armies conquered Egypt from the Romans. And just like that, the prophecy made by the Prophet Muhammad years earlier had come true. The 5,000-year story, from King Narmer all the way to this moment, had finally come full circle.
Ultimately, this 5,000-year journey just shows how we make sense of these huge sweeps of time. Whether it's through ancient tablets, religious texts, or modern archaeology, the story we decide to tell is what defines what we learn from the past. It really makes you wonder, right? How do the stories we tell today shape what future generations will believe about us?